You are looking at a living index of insights. Everything everyone in the company has learned from the content they consumed. All digitally curated so it is not lost or wasted, and it's all 140 characters or less. Each was created using an annotation-like interface. When I click on one, this will show what we call the Smartsnip. There's my insight, that's the thought that formed in my head when I was consuming content. There's the excerpt or snip of content which triggered that insight. You can add tags, optionally a note, and to see the source of where that snip came from, click on the document thumbnail and the source reappears rotated to the exact page and snip spot. Now to create one is as simple as using an annotation system. Simply draw a box with your mouse, type in your insight, optionally add a note, add some tags, hit save, and you've captured a Smartsnip. When you capture your insights in Smartsnips, as shown here, you don't have to worry about forgetting them. You don't have to store the bulky source content anymore. You've harvested what you need from the source content, the snip here, and populated your digital brain with 130 character bits of what it means to you, that insight, and which is just what you need to know more. And now they're instantly available on your mobile phone / pocket brain. And it's not just my insights I get access to. This is from one of my colleagues. I can leverage his knowledge as well. And if you click back over here to search and click on the browse button, while this is a demo site with a small group in here, you can notice that I can browse other people's insights. I can click on their tag and pull them up. I can search in here for them. And when I'm searching, note that the results I'm getting are not documents. That's what you get when you search in Google or Enterprise Search. The results are insights that were formed by my colleagues from already having consumed the content. Orders of magnitude higher in terms of value and relevancy to me and what I'm trying to do in my business. To load content for snipping, you simply navigate to the content section in Smartsnips. You can also get there by clicking on the create button and selecting load content. You can add files from your hard drive. You can drag and drop them here. Once they're loaded and converted, you click on it and it will launch in our document viewer for snipping. We also have a web snipper that you can add as a Chrome extension. You click on the S, drops down, click capture and snip, it'll curate the page and you can snip it right in place. And if you click save for later, it'll capture the page and it will put it here in the content section so it's ready for your snipping later. We convert the most common document types for snipping: PDFs, Word and PowerPoint, web content, and most text formats. Smartsnips can also help you create better insights with intelligent feedback and coaching. Here's an example of one of my insights from an excerpt of content, and it probably doesn't really fully capture what I know and my expertise and knowledge about this topic and kind of how this evidence could be applied to my business context. Oftentimes we have a lot more of that floating around in our head than we necessarily are able to articulate, and that's what this Insight Strength Meter is for, is to really kind of help flush out that thinking and tell you where you could maybe flush that out better. So here on Analytical, you can click on this and it'll give you some real-time kind of coaching on how to make your insights more analytical. Same thing for these other factors. Here's an example of one where I did flush out my thinking further, and the score is much higher. And that's really the objective. This is only seen by the Insight author, and really just to help flush out your thinking to the fullest so that others in your organization can really benefit from your knowledge and expertise. You'll also notice in search you're actually getting parallel search results across not just only insights but also topics and hyperpoints. Think of topics as a collaborative container where you can collect both your insights as well as any of those you have access to from your colleagues across the company. If you click create, you can select topic to create one. Then you can start collecting your insights, and you can use all the browse and search features to help you do that. And then you simply name your topic. You can add one or more tags, which you can also later on you can associate insights with topics. And these tags, once associated, become part of a tag tray. You can kind of do a single click to add them. And once we've saved this topic, you can click on each insight to show the full snip. And of course, clicking on the document will launch the document viewer. So you've got kind of the full data structure represented here. You can set the access policy as the owner, just like I can with any other object. If you click edit, you can go into edit mode and you can reorder them. This is kind of where critical thinking kind of starts, with grouping and sequencing. And you can also go into bulk move order if you have a lot of them. This is very handy to rearrange them quickly. And you can also drag and drop them here. And once you get sort of far enough along in your thinking with kind of the grouping and sequencing, you may then want to add higher level insights, and that's where you can simply select copy to hyperpoint, and that'll enable you to use all these insights in a hyperpoint which you create. You'll also notice in the parallel search results we have what's called hyperpoints, and think of which you can create off of the create button here, and think of a hyperpoint as more of a deliverable. It's really kind of a 3D drill down deliverable that takes topics to the next level. In addition to sort of grouping and sequencing your insights, you can add higher level insights. Now here's an example of my insight. Click on it, cracks open, you see the full Smartsnip. You can drill all the way down to the source document if you need to. So the full data structure is there. A one-page hyperpoint could drill down to thousands of pages of underlying documentation. Very powerful way to communicate expertise, or to find somebody that created one so you can be an expert on whatever they're an expert on. And to create these text blocks, if you go into edit mode here, you have the ability to simply add a text block anywhere you want. And we use a language called Markdown. Very simple, pound space, and you can create a top tier header, 2 pounds, and a second tier header, 3 pounds, and a third tier header. So a very kind of quick way to create these higher level insights. And we've got you can rearrange them just like you can in topics. We've got bulk editing just like in topics, and that's kind of how the hyperpoint works. You can also publish them. So if I click here, I can actually share this externally, and it contains the full data structure here in the externally shareable version as well. I can just simply grab this URL, embed it in a document, send it in an email, send it out through Twitter if I'd like. This is a organizational preference setting has to be turned on to enable you to do that, but kind of very powerful way to package and communicate knowledge.